Hello, English students, and welcome to Dosis de Inglés, your daily dose of real English to improve quickly. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Sophie. We're so happy to have you here.
Today we have something special, a real conversation about one of those everyday situations we all go through.
And we're going to use natural English, the kind you don't usually find in textbooks. Yeah.
Exactly. You'll hear a short story, and then we'll explain some useful expressions that you can use right away.
So don't worry if you don't understand every word at first. Just listen, enjoy, and by the end of the episode,
You'll understand everything. Ready, Sophie?
let's go.
Sophie, has it ever happened to you that you said yes just to avoid making things awkward and then regretted it?
More times than I'd like to admit. Sometimes I feel like saying no is like letting someone down, even though I'm actually letting myself down.
That happened to me recently. A friend asked me to help with a project, and even though I knew I didn't have time, I said yes, just to not seem rude. I ended up stressed, sleepless, and doing everything halfway.
Exactly. It's like we're taught from a young age that saying no is selfish or rude, but no one tells us that setting boundaries is also a way of taking care of ourselves.
Totally. I think learning to say no isn't about rejecting others. It's about accepting that we can't do it all.
And in the end, when you say yes to everything, you end up saying no to yourself, to your rest, to your priorities, to your plans.
I like the way you put that. I'm practicing saying no without feeling guilty. Something like, thanks for thinking of me, but this time I can't help.
That's a good phrase. It's kind, direct, and clear. You know what's helped me. Thinking that every honest no I say makes room for a true yes later on.
That's gold. Saying no isn't about closing doors. It's about opening the right ones.
And there's also that fear of missing out on opportunities, like when someone offers you something that sounds interesting and you're not sure whether to accept it, even if it doesn't really fit you.
Yes, I was offered a freelance job that seemed good, but something told me it wasn't right. The client was difficult. The deadlines were too tight, but I accepted anyway.
And how did it go?
Terribly. I didn't sleep for a week. The client changed everything last minute, and I ended up delivering something I wasn't even happy with. I learned the hard way that a forced yes can be very costly.
I get it. Sometimes that unsaid no turns into stress, anxiety, and even resentment. And the worst part is no one notices. Because from the outside, everything seems fine.
Exactly. And sometimes it's not just about work. Even with family or friends, it's hard to say no. You don't want to hurt anyone, but you end up draining yourself.
Totally. It happened to me with a friend who always asked me for favors, and because I didn't want to make her uncomfortable, I never said no. But there came a point when I realized it wasn't fair. I was always the one giving in.
And what did you do?
One day I just told her, respectfully, without guilt, but clearly. And you know what? She understood. She wasn't upset. She said, "Thanks for telling me. I hadn't noticed."
That's powerful. Sometimes we think the other person will get angry or walk away. But in reality, when we're honest, we actually build healthier relationships.
And when we learn to say no, we also start saying yes to what really matters: our health, our time, our peace of mind.
Saying no is also a form of self-love. You know what's the most interesting part, Sophie? When you start saying no respectfully, not only do you respect yourself, people start respecting you more too.
That's so true. You stop being that person who always says yes to everything, and people begin to value your time, your energy, even your silence.
And it's not about being selfish. It's about having clarity. There's a phrase I heard recently that really stuck with me. When everything is important, nothing is. Saying no forces you to prioritize.
I love that. And it also reminds me that not everything you lose is a loss. Sometimes saying no takes you away from what doesn't serve you and brings you closer to what you truly need.
Like the time you need for yourself, to rest, to think, or to simply do nothing. That's valuable too.
Absolutely. I think we live in a world where we're constantly asked for more. More work, more answers, more availability, but rarely do people ask how we're doing or whether we even have space for all of it.
And that's why it's so important that we are the ones who set those limits, not out of guilt, but out of love.
Love for ourselves, because in the end, no one else is going to take care of you like you will.
Exactly. And as we always say on this podcast, learning English is also about learning how to communicate better with yourself and with others.
And what better way to practice than with real stories and heartfelt phrases?
So, if you ever struggle to say no, remember this. Every time you choose to respect yourself, you're teaching the world how to treat you.
Wow. I think with that, we can wrap up today's story.
Yes, and now that you've heard it, it's time to learn some English phrases we used in this conversation.
Ready for the mini lesson? Let's go.
All right, now let's move on to our mini lesson. We're going to teach you 3 English phrases that came up or are related to what we just talked about.
These are super useful expressions for real-life conversations. So, pay close attention and repeat with us if you can. The first phrase is to set boundaries, which in Spanish means poner limits.
Exactly. It's a very common phrase when we talk about protecting our time, energy, or personal space.
For example, it's important to set boundaries at work so you don't burn out.
Or also, she's learning to set boundaries with her family. The second phrase is to let someone down. This expression is used when you disappoint someone or don't follow through on a promise.
Yes, like when you promise something but then can't deliver. I didn't want to let him down, so I said yes.
And many times we say yes just to avoid letting others down, but we end up letting ourselves down instead.
The last phrase for today was there to value your time, which means valorar tu tiempo.
It's used when someone respects your time or when you learn not to give it away to just anything. When you say no, you're showing that you value your time.
You can also use it like this: he doesn't value my time, he's always late.
3 super powerful phrases, right?
Yes, and all of them are connected to today's topic: taking care of yourself, respecting yourself, and learning to say no without guilt.
Now it's your turn. Try using at least one of these phrases this week. Write it down, say it out loud, or tell someone, I'm learning to set boundaries.
Because when you learn English with intention, every word has power.
Bueno, eso ha sido todo por hoy. Esperamos que esta historia te haya hecho reflexionar y que estas frases en inglés te ayuden a expresarte mejor.
Recuerda, aprender un idioma no es solo memorizar palabras, es también aprender a comunicar lo que sientes, lo que piensas y lo que necesitas.
Y si estás comenzando tu camino con el inglés o si quieres reforzar lo que ya sabes,
tenemos un regalo para ti, nuestro libro digital con más de 2,000 palabras prácticas en inglés organizadas para que puedas aprender desde cero y mejorar tu vocabulario real.
El enlace para obtenerlo está en el primer comentario fijado de este episodio. Haz clic y descárgalo ahora mismo.
Gracias por estar con nosotros en esta nueva dosis de inglés.
Nos vemos en el próximo episodio. Bye.